This is the real spiritual journey. No fluff, no bypassing, pure honesty. This world is a total clusterfuck. Every Sunday, we're going to embrace the cluster and attempt to unfuck it. And we attempt to unfuck it not to perfect the world, but to better understand who we are and what the truth is. When we can sit back, observe, discuss, and analyze this giant clusterfuck, perhaps we can better understand ourselves and come up with simple solutions. Visit the website at theclusterfuck.com for links to all of the streaming and podcast platforms and social media. Now let's get ready to unfuck the cluster. Well, here we are again live. This was a totally unplanned show. I thought I had a shift this week tonight that I took on, but it's next week. So I thought, you know what? I have a little bit of extra time. Let's go in and do a show. Let's figure it out. And so, of course, we're going to be talking about the war in Iran. I've got tons of stuff. We'll see. Usually I have an outline. I have no outline today. We are winging it, but I have tons. We are going to be navigating tons of X profiles, ones that I trust somewhat because, of course, I'm convinced, it might seem a little crazy to you, but I am definitely convinced that most of the people on live, even podcasts, like the big ones, are just really part of the whole spiel and the whole Wetika. We got Incognito here. We got Dorothy here. I know we may not have a lot of people today because normally I'm not here, and I told everybody, I swore on Wednesday we weren't going to talk. But of course, I thought, let's go back and visit this Iran situation and the crazy situation that's happening in our world today. And we're going to start off with Trump and what our media says, and then we're going to go into what the X media says. Thank you, Kirby. It's good to see you. Vampires of the system. Of course, I'm just looking at my page, and on the Facebook page, it's not going live, so I don't know what was up with that. Maybe it booted me off the Facebook. So it's not streaming on Facebook today. I'm super tired. I don't know what's going on. I'm really horrible at waking up at 6 a.m. to go to work. 7 or 8, I do fine. But if I have to wake up any earlier, and I was up at 5 a.m., it just sort of, my brain just never functions. I've always been like that. But it's what you have to do a job. C'est la vie. But here we are. And of course, last time we talked about Wetika in pertaining to the Dark Enlightenment. And Wetika, of course, pertains to almost everything in this planet. And, you know, Wetika was that cannibalistic, almost demonic-like spirit that, you know, seeks for more and more and more money and more wealth and more. And it's never enough. There's no balance. It's very corrupting. It's like a mind virus. And this torrential onslaught into the Middle East is like a mind virus. You could probably go all the way back to the Crusades and see this kind of, you know, struggle between the Middle East and Christianity, right? It's all throughout time. And so And now what we have going on today, I don't know if that's directly connected. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a connection there. But what we have going on here today, of course, is a psychotic administration that, of course, is, Trump's just the front. And I'm going to go into videos. There's videos of Hillary Clinton supporting him and all that stuff, but Trump's just the front of this organization. There is many people, the banking system, all that stuff is behind them, and they are pushing for this world domination, this globalism, the central bank, and they've been wanting to do this to Iran for a long time. The lies in the media are astounding. And there's lies on the Iranian side as well. There's some things that I can't quite find that are true. Like, apparently Netanyahu's house was blown up and his brother died and he's fled. I can't find solid proof of that. They're saying that's not true. But one of the things I mentioned last time about the Strait of Hormuz, I believe it was Jared came in to the chat and said, no, that was a hoax. And it is not a hoax. I said it right there, and he kept arguing. But the stuff with the Strait of Hormuz being blocked and no traffic going through it, not a hoax. Let's just reiterate that. They've actually, I think there was 3 different ships. Trump was egging people on, allegedly, saying patriots will use the Strait of Hormuz. And apparently a Thai ship and a couple other ships were blown up. And allegedly, Iranians are putting mines in the Strait of Hormuz now. They're weaponizing this. This is a power. This tells you that we're not just connected spiritually, but the system, the economic system. Remember, Antichrist. It's the economic system. It's all linked. It's all connected, but it's in a devious way. Remember, when they talk about Antichrist, you hear all these Christians. I've watched videos of Christians who are excited about this war because they believe Jesus is coming now because it's biblical. Fucking insane shit that's not even in the Bible. And they talk about the Antichrist. And remember, the Antichrist is a figure, but it has to do with the economy and banking. It's very much attached to money and currency, that everybody will be economically controlled. So those who seek to do this, which they're doing right now, there's one figure up at the top that rings it in. That's Antichrist. It will always have to do with finance. The mark of the beast, finance. It's always about economy. And of course, this Strait of Hormuz threatens the global economy. And of course, Trump and them are turning all this stuff back on Iran and blaming them, when it is Trump and his ignorant, drunken, born-again Christian Pete Hegseth and their ill planning and their disgust. It's all their fault. What do you expect? And, Iran's going to fight back. If you're threatening their mere existence, they're going to push back. And so that's where we start off with Wetika on crack. And that's why we're going to try to kind of analyze this and not get upset, not trigger our own Wetika and freak out. Excuse me, I need a drink of water. We're going to look at some videos. First of all, I think what we should do, I think I've got a video here of them asking Trump about the girls' school, and they ask him a couple of times, and it just gets crazy, the different stories that don't make sense and the lies coming out of Donald Trump. But I'm going to say this, before we get into freaking out about Trump, the Democrats want this war too. Okay, they've been drooling all over this one, so they're all in together. The Democrats would just like it to look more pretty, more nice, like they're following some rules, make it look a little bit liberally on the outside. They'd be happier with that. They probably don't like the Pete Hegseth, I'm a drunken, born-again Christian, y'all, let's get him, right? They all kind of want to do it, but they want to have it look visually different ways. And you can see that with Biden and Ukraine and stuff like that. They have different ways they want war to look, but it's all the same shit with the same goals. So let's just keep that in mind. This isn't totally about me just trashing Trump. I don't like the entire system. It is an evil beast system who is suffering from Wetika and giving the rest of us some kind of psychosis where we're being drawn into this. That's why I'm playing some mellow music in the background. And here we go. I'm late a few minutes playing catch up. We've only been on a few minutes. Road trip. You're good. Genocide in the room. Hit the like button. I forgot to say, hit the like button. That really helps the stream. So tap that like button. You can even share it. Say your comments. And I know a lot of people, I've lost a couple of subscribers. I think maybe they're mad that I'm saying stuff about Trump. I don't know. I can only guess, or whatever it is. Yeah, I'm going to show a video of this. Genocide says, I saw Hillary compliment Trump. That should worry everyone. It's because we don't have two sides of a party. They're all doing the same goals. They just make it look different on the outside. So, I don't know, maybe Hillary would prefer to fly rainbow flags as they bomb Iran. I have no idea. They're all evil. And they're all in on it together. So, yeah, tap that like button. We're live right now on Kick, Twitch, Substack, and YouTube. Facebook, for some reason, it didn't get on. I'm not going to mess with the stream now. They deleted off Facebook anyways. It's not even permanent. The best place, guys, of course, to subscribe is on the YouTube channel. We are mere moments away from being able to monetize at the level where I can offer members only stuff and super chats and give you guys stickers. So don't forget to go to the website, theclusterfuck.com. That's where all the links are to everything. I mean, I'm on TikTok, but I don't know. I don't keep it consistent because I'm just being myself. I'm just being authentic. And yeah, we're going to use a lot of clips from people who have some more, pumped up setting than I do, but c'est la vie. Here it goes. But let's go and see what Trump has to say about this. Then we're going to get into the kind of nitty gritty, what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Iran. Where does this go? What is Israel's real goal and what their strategy might be, stuff like that. So let's check out Mr. Trump here.
Footage that shows that an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I haven't seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic, it's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now.
You just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a Tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But Tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have Tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to.
Okay. So we'll come back to the screen. Big liar. Yes, other people have Tomahawks, but it's regulated. And I think the U.S. sells them to 4 other people, and it's not Iran. So it is not Iran. So he's trying to weave and make it look like Iran bombed their own school with Tomahawks. American missile. We don't sell Tomahawks to Iran. They don't have them. They have their own, they have their own version, like a knockoff version. Thank you. They don't actually have Tomahawks. Now we're going to go for the next video. I think they ask him again. There's another follow-up, and he sounds crazy again. Not this one, but let's go for the next one. I'm not as organized as some of these people. So here, they ask him again. They literally, in this clip, they're going to say to him, hey, look, there was an investigation. Because in that clip, he's saying, I just don't know. But yet he says he knows it's Iran. But then he says he doesn't know. In this clip, they're going to tell them an investigation has said it's U.S. stuff. And then you're going to see his response that it's a U.S. Tomahawk. The U.S. did it. And by the way, the U.S. just didn't drop some bombs. They did what's called a double tap. They dropped a bunch of bombs on the school and the area. And then when people came to help and the parents came to help, they bombed them again. They bombed the people who were helping. Real sick stuff. Check it out.
Shows a new report says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As Commander-in-Chief, do you take responsibility for that?
That is what?
As Commander-in-Chief, do you...
For what?
For the strike on the school in Iran. A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about it.
Are you the president?
Okay. That's our president who's saying, first he says he doesn't know enough information on it, but it's Iran, even though he doesn't know enough information. He lies saying Iran has Tomahawks, which they don't. Then when he's followed up after an investigation said, yes, it's US, he's like, I don't know about that. And he's the fucking president of the United States. And he doesn't know. Do you see all this gaslighting and playing dumb when it's needed to be? Like, I don't know about that. Who are you? Da 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 da. That kind of crazy. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but this guy, of course, he campaigned. He campaigned on no wars and getting out of wars and stopping Ukraine. He campaigned on a lot of things that obviously he just didn't do. And I knew he wasn't going to do them because it was clear who gave him a lot of money. And you know, this isn't the show to go into that level of mafia and Khazarian mafia, and this isn't the show for it, but it's deep, and obviously they're Zios, and they are for a certain country, and that certain country, Israel, believes that they have to have a nation state, the Israel sort of plan, where they expand all into the Middle East and they take out everyone that their precious little hearts feel threatened by. And there is chaos everywhere. There's chaos in Tehran and different areas of Iran. They're trying to hide it in Tel Aviv, I believe, if I'm to be remembering this correct. They will put you in jail for like up to 7 years if you show footage of what's actually happening in Tel Aviv. So even some of the footage we're going to look at today, these people snuck that out knowing that they could go to prison for showing you the facts. Like, yeah, just absolutely speechless. I'm going to go back to this one. Just absolutely speechless on this. Let's go see what else we have. We're also going to take a look at Mr. Lindsey Graham. I believe I have a long clip of Lindsey Graham who should really discuss people. I've never liked the man. And what's really sad about what's going on with Trump is he is now surrounded by all these people who hated him, who were never Trumpers, who were not MAGA, who were not his original supporters. They're all about him. They're all neocons. They're all the terrible people. And I refuse to believe that Trump's just naive and he didn't know. I honestly think Trump was put in. Trump was put in here for this reason. I believe he infiltrated Tea Party kind of people and strung them along the way. And this was always where they wanted to steer people, is in this radical, crazy, religious, end of days kind of concept. It's total psyop. We thought they were going to give us UFOs, but instead they gave us Armageddon and the Antichrist as a psyop. And that's how I believe it's going. But let's have a listen to everyone's favorite asshole, Lindsey Graham, the pedophile war hawk.
America First is to kill people who wish us ill, to take them off the table. When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money. You just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people. The mothership of international terrorism is about to collapse. The captain of the ship, the Ayatollah, is stone cold dead. The mothership of terrorism is sinking The captain is dead.
The mothership of terrorism is about to go down. There's a new dawn coming in the Mideast.
Thank God Trump did this.
If we lose anybody in this operation, they will have died a noble death.
We should applaud our men and women in the military who are doing something I've never seen done before, decimating a brutal enemy in 9 days. I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. If somebody is...
Okay, I gotta pause that. Do you think this guy's gonna fight anything? This guy's never fought anything in his life, and he's talking like he's going to the front of the battlefield. I think people are actually petitioning for Lindsey Graham to be like, basically airdropped in the middle of Iran so he can face it on his own, and see if he does big talking then. This just is Wetika. It kind of enrages you that these people are talking about the draft and want to send our children to die while they reap off all the money and support pedophiles, probably are pedophiles themselves. I love that Iran is calling this the Epstein kind of empire, whatever they're saying, because it's accurate. It's accurate. And Epstein, in all his dealings, had Iran on the ticket as well. So let's keep watching.
threatening my family, wants to rape your wife and burn down.
Okay, do you see, that's propaganda right there. Yeah, there are some radicals that do that in Europe. They've been having a problem, but he's trying to paint it as this is what they all want to do. Excuse me, rape your wife. You go to Iran, I doubt that they're going to do that. They're painting this really archaic picture, making you afraid of Iranians, so you support their war, so you can slaughter innocent schoolgirls in their school.
House and kill your children. I don't want to wait to...
And by the way, he's terrifying you with that, but they support the Epstein stuff that probably eat children and slave drive women and traffic people and do scientific experiment on people. I can't even go over the horrors that I've seen in the Epstein files because it's just so graphic. Some of it is really graphic.
They get to the gun store and the gas station.
We're at war with Iran. We've been at war for a long... They've been at war with us. We're finally at war with them. It's an undeclared state of war. I'm glad.
Iran has not been at war with us. We are the ones who always been bullying them. Let's correct Lindsey on that one.
Glad we're finally taking this regime on.
I'm calling on President Trump today. Join Israel to attack Hezbollah. Settle the score. Even the account. Mr. President, unleash the American military with Israel on Hezbollah tonight. Finish these bastards off. Mr. President, do it and do it now. They're weak. We can take them out, and we should take them out. I'm urging our Arab allies to fight back. You're being hit, too. I want them to get in the fight. Cuba's next. They're going to fall. This communist dictatorship in Cuba, their days are numbered. Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yep. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this at? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran...
Do you see how disgusting they are? They're showing up with merch. And she's laughing in the background as they slaughter men, women, and children. We may not agree with their religion, but it's none of our business. And they're making it look like it's about democracy and greatness, and it's all about Israel's greater ethno-state plan and the need for oil, the need to control all that area, and the need for the central bankers. By the way, central bankers are the one who started agencies like the CIA, but the need for them to control every little section of this planet that's in existence. This is what this is about.
It's for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. So how does this end? It ends with victory. Donald J. Trump is going to bring this regime down. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
Now, if that isn't hubris, I don't know what is. If that wasn't a Wetika demon screeching on TV, I don't know what is. And so here's the gist. We'll get into some other videos and some other clips of Iran and things that are happening. I also have a video we'll play right after this with Jimmy Dore of how Iran's actually outsmarting them with a much more efficient equipment that's cheaper. And it's actually causing them some issues. But this is just so typical of someone like Lindsey Graham bragging about how great America is. If you have to brag like that in the way that Trump and Lindsey Graham are doing, and you can't just be diplomatic, it's probably not true. In fact, America's not in the same situation they were when they went into Iraq. Iraq's a much easier country to handle. It had a lot of issues. And by the way, one of the things that America did when they put Saddam Hussein in, because Saddam Hussein is a Sunni Muslim and Iran, most of them are Shia. They also have Jewish Muslims there. They have Jewish Iranians there, sorry, and Christian Iranians. But they did they had him in there to kind of pit him against Iran and kind of war with Iran because it was kind of Sunni versus Shia. They did that act with Saddam Hussein. So when they took Saddam Hussein out as the evil villain, when they actually put him in power, that was kind of funny and ironic. And I tried to tell everybody back then in the Bush days as well, but everybody wanted war. But the times have changed and people are seeing through this. People are not happy. And a lot of people think that America's strong. They're going to go in. They're talking about boots on the ground. They're, bombing Tehran. But Iran is, shooting back. I mean, they're getting back. But there's also this idea of like, what's the intention? Like, why create all this chaos and this long war if Israel and their Golden Dome isn't so great? And I don't have a clip of this, but I'm going to kind of paraphrase what Professor Zhang was saying, and I've heard other people say, is that Israel's goal is actually to have America lose. You heard that here. Israel's goal is to have America lose this war and have to pull out. They want Iran to bomb all these military bases so that America eventually clears out. They're going to hold off. They're going to put up with the attacks. They're going to want America to clear out. That weakens Iran because there's been a war going on, and then they want to take over. They want America out of there so they can take over that entire area, and then maybe they'll nuke. They actually might nuke Iran then, but they're going to wait. And that's the idea of what Israel wants, is they want America to be weakened, to lose people, to lose manpower, to lose missiles, to lose bases. That weakens Iran and America. It'll clear America out and then pave way for Israel to just mow on in and take over. Now, I don't know if you think that's right or that's what they're doing, but that's one of the ideas about what Israel's objectives is. And I hope Iran is paying attention to all these channels because that is their objective. And it wouldn't surprise me that they're kind of parasitical like that, these Zionists, and sort of like they're like, we can take out America, their constitution, we can do it in one fell swoop because Trump is stupid. I also heard that Lindsey Graham regularly coached Netanyahu on how to manipulate Trump or how to get on his good side to do this. I don't think they had to do too much. I mean, Trump sent his own son-in-law with that Steve Witkoff over there as like envoys to Iran, thinking they would kind of do a peace deal. And all they did was lie and raise tensions to start the war. Because that's what they're Zios. They're all linked to this. Not just Rothschilds. There's another family, and I forgot the name, but they're all linked to this kind of Sabbatian, Rothschilds, Zionist clusterfuck. We'll call it that. They're all linked to it. So now we're going to go.
America first.
Shut up, Lindsey Graham. We're going to do a little bit of screen share here. We're going to see what they said about how Iran is taking this on over at Jimador. Do we got it? Do we got it? Trying to see if this will take. Let's see. Is this it? I don't think this is it. Let's try. Yeah, here we go. Hopefully this will go back to size. Perfect. And we got to scroll down to my video here. So we're going to watch. Here's how Iran is using ingenious low-tech missiles and drones to take a chunk out of America and I guess unwittingly do the bidding of Israel. I hope Iran understands this and really hits Israel hard. Lots of people have left or are leaving Israel. By the way, a lot of Jewish people are like, hell no, we don't want to do this.
Now, if you're a local business owner, listen up because I'm going to show you how to rank #1 on Google Maps and drive a ton of leads organically.
Iran can beat Israel's missile defense systems with paper airplanes, basically.
That's what balsa wood is. It's one notch, and I don't even give it that much above a paper airplane.
So they're building their drones out of balsam wood. And apparently the whatever they're using that detects missiles is meant to detect heavy metals, not balsam wood. And it's having trouble dealing with the Iran's very simple technology because of the materials that Iran has built these drones out of. Let's continue to listen to this.
Airplane.
So you're saying that we could launch all the social media influencers who support the war and radar wouldn't pick them up because of their wooden performances on camera? I got a couple of videos I'm going to show you about how the Iran has decided to overwhelm our billions and billions and billions of dollars we'd put into anti-missile technology. So the whole idea of the Iron Dome that we've been billions of dollars around Israel, it's supposed to be able, so you can't shoot a missile into Israel because they have anti-missile missiles that will shoot down your missile or your rocket or your bomb. But they actually did beat it, and they went low tech. Here's how Iran beat our billions and billions of dollars trying to stop them from bombing Israel. Here's how they did it.
How did Iran actually bypass the Iron Dome using wooden stealth drones? The advanced defense system is perfectly tuned to track fast, heavy metal rockets. Powerful radars easily spot steel casings and highly reflective electronic parts. To bypass this shield, engineers completely abandoned modern military materials. They built a new swarm of kamikaze drones almost entirely out of balsa wood. Wood and thin fiberglass absorb radar waves instead of bouncing them back. Instead of hot engines, they use tiny electric motors with zero heat signature. The drones were programmed to fly at extreme low altitudes, hugging the terrain. The dome's smart sensors simply filtered them out as flocks of birds or static noise. The AI didn't trigger interceptors until the wooden swarm was already diving in. In 2026, the world's smartest shield was pierced by the most primitive technology. How did Iran actually bypass?
So that's how they did it.
You have the jokes?
Yeah. So just to summarize where we're at, Iran can beat Israel's missile defense systems with paper airplanes, basically.
That's what balsa wood is. It's one notch, and I don't even give it that much above a paper airplane.
Let's go forward a bit here. There we go. This is another video. I want to watch the other video. It's a Canadian video. Here we go.
Here's Canada's broadcasting company.
Iran's Shahed attack drones have been hitting targets across the Middle East since the start of the war. And they're a bigger problem than the US was anticipating. That's what Trump administration officials told lawmakers during a closed-door meeting on Iran. Here are the facts about the drones. They're unmanned aircraft that can carry powerful explosives as far as 2,000 kilometers. They're programmed to hit specific targets and they explode on impact. Iran was the first country to develop them, but they've also been used by Russia in its war against Ukraine. They're cheaper to make than the missiles that are often used to shoot them down. One Shahed drone costs between $20,000 and $50,000 US, depending on the model. The missiles used to intercept them can cost millions. The drones are roughly 3.5 meters long and have a wingspan of 2.5 meters. They're small enough to be mounted on the back of a truck. Shahed drones fly low and slow, up to 185 kilometers per hour, and they can have erratic flight paths. That makes it difficult to track them on radar and shoot them down. They make a loud buzzing noise that some compare to the sound of a moped or a lawnmower. This one hit a Bahrain high-rise building on the first day of the war. While most of the drones have been intercepted, some have reached their targets despite billion-dollar defense systems. Iran's Shahed attack.
So billions of dollars against toy airplanes, basically.
All right. Billions of dollars against toy airplanes. And it's, ironically, it's like David versus Goliath. You get it? Israel. So for this time, you're not the David. You're partnered up with the Goliath, and the I think Russia actually has adapted some of this as well. Is that they're using different materials to outsmart. They're thinking about, and they've got their they probably have their intel information, and they know how this Iron Dome works. And so the Iron Dome, like I said, isn't so golden because it's looking for massive, massive missiles that are like made of very heavy metals and materials. It's not looking for balsa wood at all. It just sees that as something else. And that's the other thing about these strikes that are happening. A lot of, because Palantir's probably in with this, a lot of these strikes are being determined, the areas are not being determined by humans going, okay, this is too populated, let's hit this. It's being done by AI, and AI is not discriminating. Leave it to a drunken Pete Hegseth to be like, yeah, let's just kill them all. And I think that's why the girls' school got hit and double tapped, is because they're just indiscriminately using AI, like stupid, lazy, ignorant retards. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but Erica Kirk just got put on some kind of committee advisory board to the Air Force to advise the schooling or something for the Air Force or something like that for Pete Hegseth. What qualifications? Because she's a widow of Charlie Kirk. That would be like them saying, "Hey, my husband dies," and they're like, "Oh, you're his widow, Melissa. Now you can drive his truck," and I don't know how. Just because you're the grieving widow. Just really crazy stuff. It's clear psyop. You can, I mean, Candace is going on about her all the time, but Erica Kirk is clearly linked to Epstein and probably linked to the Rothschilds as well. So this is lineage. All these people in power are linked to these crazy families. I'll tell you that right now. Now it's time to take a gander. Maybe we should do some X stuff now. First, actually, I'm going to show you this video, because a lot of people are saying that we're going to get that. You heard in that one video, they're saying Iran is bombing other countries, and it's probably Israel. And Israel also infiltrates people into Iran. They teach the young people how to speak Persian and pretend they're Iranian so that they can have them as agents that go in and try to create chaos in other countries. And here's a video of actually showing that schools in Israel actually are teaching their kids before, because they have to enlist in the military at 18. They actually teach them to speak Persian and behave that way so they can infiltrate them in the countries and cause chaos.
These teenagers may be Israel's future operatives in an espionage battle against Iran. They learn about Iranian history and culture and sing in the Persian language. I'm Reuters' Rinat Harash at Ben Gurion High School in the Israeli city of Petah Tikva. These high schoolers behind me may be Israel's future operatives in an escalating shadow war with Iran. They are enrolled in a unique university-level program titled Iran, Security and Intelligence. They're currently studying for their final exams, focusing on Farsi grammar, translations, and contemporary Iranian affairs. When drafted for their mandatory military service at age 18, they will be natural candidates for key positions in Israel's intelligence services. Because of their candidacy, the program managers requested we do not
All right, don't publish what they're doing, but they're doing it. And of course, a lot of these, like when they say they've got these Kurdish people kind of invading Iran, a lot of the Kurdish people, it'll be Mossad or IDF dressed up as Kurdish people. Seriously, I mean, they're leaving no stone unturned. Apparently, they're using their Apache helicopters to gun down low-speed drones now for cheaper method. Pirate Shipping says, and the use of cheap drones have brought back the economies of scale back into warfare now. Well, yeah, you kind of have to be clever like that. And even use an Apache helicopter compared to those cheap drones that cost like $10,000 to $50,000 to make. I don't know, oil's going to get pretty expensive here. Things are not going to be looking good. So just kind of gives you the basics of how you have to think outside of the box when it comes to war, especially, I mean, and it shows you these big nations that are hegemonies and, crow the loudest, don't often come up with, you know, ingenuity and ways of doing it first, because they're not fighting for survival. They just greedily want to take over. So we're going to do a little venture over on X. And we're going to see what's happening in Israel now, because Israel doesn't want you to see any of the turmoil. They're trying to... Oh, this one's actually really good. We'll get to Israel, but this is Hillary Clinton. This is our favorite Democrat of all time. And let's see what Hillary Clinton, is she mad about this? Is she being the proper Democrat? Is she saying, hey, what are you doing, Trump? I don't think so. Let's
all of that is a very,
let's hear what
I
Hillary
think all
says.
of that is a very good signal that there is beginning to be a better understanding, both by the president and the people around him, as well as by the leaders of our European allies, that there can be common ground amongst us. And the kind of dismissiveness that we saw in the first Trump administration has been replaced by a much more obvious working relationship to the good of European security, transatlantic security, and hopefully Ukrainian security. So I'm actually...
So basically what Hillary says is, now Trump's doing all these wars that my evil, decrepit ass wants, so we like him. And I think it's more of the case that Trump was always meant to do this. It's just they play a long game for different reasons, for whatever narrative they have in mind. But yeah, Eric says, apparently creating economies of scale is worth the bloodshed. Yeah, really, really crazy stuff. So that's Hillary kind of patting Trump on the back, because they've always been friends. They never stop being friends. That's just an illusion. Now what? Okay, so here's what and I have heard, I had a clip of it and I lost it, but Russia gave out their intel, and of course it showed that Israel is lying about their casualties, that they have way more than what they're saying. So don't depend on Israel to tell you what the goods are. We're not going to depend on that. So Iran has 13,785 civilian buildings damaged in the USA-Israeli red airstrikes. 11,000 residential, 2,000 commercial, 65 schools were affected. The figures were released by Perosing Kolavand, president of the Iranian Red Crescent, who said the damage reflects the widening civilian impact on the ongoing U.S.-Israeli strikes across the country. Footage below from the strikes on apartments near Rustalet Square showed that 40 civilians were killed. So here is the footage. Let's play that again.
آدمایی که زنده توی طبقه پنجم پیدا کردیم.
Just so tragic, because they are actually bombing. I don't know what happened to my picture, but apparently I've disappeared. All right. Can you all hear me? Because I've disappeared. Dun, 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 dun. Nope. I'll turn that one off. Interesting. Let's see if we can get me back. Huh. Well, let's do a new scene, because apparently I've disappeared. Oh, there I am. Oh, we'll just straighten this up. We got a few more videos to show you guys. And then we'll talk about this. Here I am. We'll just leave the whole screen and put me a little bigger there. And do a little screen share. So that was... Now I want to go to show stuff that is actually... Now these videos that we have, on Iran, and I've got a few of them, so bear with me. Let's go to this one. If they're of Israel, then someone really had to do some quick work to get them out, because you are not allowed to film and show anything happening in Tel Aviv. Definitely not. So this is American forces continue to withdraw from Hasaka, Syria, towards Iraq. Apparently they're bombing Iraq now. America's bombing Iraq and pretending it's Iran doing it. What Israel's trying to do is Israel's trying to create this anger of all the other Arab nations and pretend that Iran is bombing them when it's Israel. And I don't think they're necessarily falling for it. So let's go and watch them take off. There's that one. Got this one here that I'm about to share. This is near Iraq. Oh, apparently none of them want to share anymore. They're just tired of sharing. Let's try that again. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, here's the one I really want to share. This is of Israel. This one right here. We'll put this in big. This is showing Israel getting destroyed, as he says. So the bombs are getting through the Iron Dome and hitting Israel as well. Okay, so that one, there we go. It's just good to go off of X, because Donald Trump will tell you, and I've got clips of him saying the war is over, we're going to destroy it. I think Trump is looking for a way to get out, because I think under his personal opinion, or what he's been told, is that it's a get in, get out quick. And I, someone probably told him that. He wouldn't know the difference. He wouldn't know if it would, oh, that one will come up, but I want to see. Oh, and this one is a man who's a baker in Iran, and his brother has just been killed, and he refuses to stop baking, saying that making food for everyone in the country is how he is on the front line. So we're going to go and look at this gentleman. Oh, no. Is this the right one? No, this is, that's actually not the one I want to show. I want to show the baker one. That's something different. Sometimes they all look the same. Where is that baker? Let's have the baker man. There he is. Let's show the baker man.
ببینه با کیا طرف است. آن خیابون شهید وفایی ملایر نانوایی کوچه امین هستیم. آقا شاطر مجتبی ما تقریبا نیم ساعتی پیش خبر شهادت برادرش شاطر کاووس رو دادن. میگه خوش به سعادتش، ایشون سعادتمند شد. من سنگرم رو رها نمی‌کنم. اسرائیل احمق ببینه با کیا طرف است. آقا مجتبی کی خبر شهادت رو دادن به شما؟
20 دقیقه پیش، نیم ساعت نمیشه.
حالا چجور شده شما 20 دقیقه پیش خبر شهادت برادرت اومد؟ شما چطور وایسادین؟
لزومی نداره برم، به خاطر این مردم نان نمیخوان، این مردم گناه کردن. 20 دقیقه پیش 20 دقیقه پیش خبر شهادت برادرش شاطر کاووس رو دادن. 20 دقیقه پیش 20 دقیقه پیش خبر شهادت برادرش شاطر کاووس رو دادن. این سنگر ما هم همینجوری دیگه ما هم بالاخره
درود بر شما
به وظیفمون عمل کنیم
درود بر شما
اسرائیل هم بذار بدونه که با این کارش هیچ کاری از پیش نمیبره هیچ غلطی هم نمیتونه بکنه
درود بر شرف شما یا علی
Won't let me pause the video.
باز ما کار خودمون انجام میدیم
درود بر شما
لعنت بر اسرائیل
آن
Okay, so that's the vicious, evil Iranian that we have to kill and get rid of because he's so evil. He's more evil than Lindsey Graham, that poor man baking to feed his people after his brother has been murdered. Let's take some comments. We got Crazy. She said the Apaches can sit near high-value infrastructure and take flight quickly when drones are incoming. Scott Good said Trump lost his most honest and serious supporters. Now he only has Ben Shapiro and bad supporters, but that already happened back in 2020. Yeah, there's still some people going to his stuff and listening to him, but I think those are people that are easily brainwashed and won't hold him to criticism. Because remember, he's telling people, and they're putting this out in these TPUSA faith and all these churches, and they're having people infiltrate. They're telling people this is a war, and they're so religiously minded to fake stuff, by the way. Half the stuff that they tell you that's in the Bible isn't. They think it's end of days. They think if they support this war, they're excited. I've literally seen girls dancing on TikTok excited because Jesus is coming back now. Just crazy stuff. And those people will never abandon him. They'll be like Jim Jones followers. They'll go out to the jungle and they'll follow them to their doom. You know what I mean? It's just crazy stuff, unfortunately. She says, seems to be defensive tactic being employed now. Yeah, God forbid you should be employed. So evil. So now let's go back to that clip of, if I can find it again, of them praying for peace. This is something you'll never see Donald Trump praying for peace. Maybe a piece of Iran, but never for actual peace. Remember, these are the evil people that are terrorists that we have to kill. These are actually Jewish Iranians. Remember, there are Jews, Christians, and Muslims. They're obviously majority Muslims, but it is a diverse culture. So these are Jewish Iranians who are praying for peace. All right. Yeah, just those are so I just feel it's important to show you people who are bakers, who are fathers, who are mothers. They may have a different religion than us. We may not even agree with them. I don't agree with most of the Christians in America. You know, we may not agree with them, but they're not these monsters and terrorists. So we have to just go pretend it's democracy and slaughter their country. And, you know, one thing I'll say about Lindsey Graham is he's saying, you know, that we're going to get the terrorists and they're going to go down. And I really hope he's right because he's the terrorist. Lindsey Graham and this cabal of crazy people that run all our governments and the central banking, they're the terrorists. So I hope he's right. And I hope his words come back to haunt him. And if there's anybody who deserves some kind of really horrible karma, it's definitely Lindsey Graham because he's so excited about this war. He's more excited than Trump. He's more excited than anyone. He's just in his glee about this war. You can't, I can't imagine what it takes to actually be this kind of person that is gleeful to murder men like that baker or those people in that church or little girls in a school. First, what? Central baking? Oh, well, there's 8 billion people on the planet. We don't care. Let's just get rid of all of them. Let's destroy their historical buildings. Crazy, crazy stuff. And that's who runs the show. That's who runs the show around here, unfortunately. So we're going to take off to some other clips, I'm sure. And I seen Alex Jones. God, I don't know what happened to him, but just crazy. Alex Jones making up all his crazy stuff. We got some more President Trump stuff. Which one's this? Oh, this is Kim.com, who they consider a terrorist too. They're trying to have him extradited from New Zealand because I guess he's a hacker. We'll watch a little bit because this gives you a little expose into Bibi Netanyahu, everybody's favorite person. Oh, Stephen Miller, I can't stand his guts. No, that's not Stephen Miller. Sorry, he was bald. I thought it was him.
Apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. I think there's another revolution coming. I tend to steer it along with the achievement of a broader peace. When history is within reach.
So what Israel is fighting here is not merely a seven-front war, but an eight-front war.
For the Jews against Rome.
Rome and Jerusalem clashed over values with a great tragedy for the Jewish people.
Did you hear that? So he's saying he's reading a book, and it's called The Jews Against Rome. These guys are not even the original Hebrews that occupied that area. They're way later converts. They're Khazarian Mafia. They converted in 7th century, 8th century. They're Turkish and up to Ukraine. They're not the original Hebrews, but yet they're biblically obsessed. Again, biblically obsessed. We've talked about on this show about the heifer, the red heifer, and how they believe this stuff, that they're going to bring about their Messiah, which would in Christianity, I guess, bring about the Antichrist and the end of days, and everyone's so excited. But when he says them against Rome, I honestly think he's talking about America. I believe that's why I don't find it hard to believe that one of his goals is to have America fail and collapse so he can move on in there. They have nuclear weapons, and they keep complaining about Iran, who doesn't have nuclear weapons, when they're running around. They stole nuclear weapons from America. They steal all their technology. They're technology stealers. Let's keep watching.
Well, we lost that one. We have to win the next one. But the new Rome, the United States, Jews against Rome.
We stopped playing defense and have moved to offense.
The weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well.
But we need the kind of genius that manufactured Apollo gold pagers and infiltrated Hezbollah for over a decade to prepare for this battle.
But we have to fight with the weapons.
Remember, many of these terrorists over there, Hamas, probably Hezbollah too, Israel funds them and makes sure that they exist. And some of them may even be their own military members. They make sure they exist to create this chaos so they can blame those countries. They make damn sure of it. And they've been doing it for decades.
That apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media.
Because the next war will be decided based on how Israel and its allies perform online as much as offline.
This is the eighth front, the disinformation campaign.
It is actually this eighth front where our enemies believe they can actually.
So that's why they bought TikTok. That's why they have so many bots spewing out disinformation on the internet, because they believe this is the eighth front of the war, which is why I'm doing this show. And hopefully more, I really appreciate you guys. Remember, thumbs up. But that's why a lot of people are just, realizing that most of the internet, most of it, not all of it, is fake, full of bots, full of disinformation. They'll accuse us of different disinformation, but that's all they do. All of the history is propaganda. None of it is accurate. It's all made up bullshit.
Defeat the Jewish state.
This is the kind of ingenuity and inventiveness that have always been a hallmark of the state of Israel, that have always been a characteristic of the Jewish people. I know we can do it.
A lot of this is done with money.
Invested billions and billions of dollars in the information battlefield.
Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster.
We prohibit harmful stereotypes about Jewish people, such as claims that Jews control financial, political, or media institutions.
Okay, that's not a stereotype. That's the fact. You notice, though, they push harmful stereotypes about Islamic people, that they're terrorists and hideous, women killer and stuff. They push that. They don't mind pushing those stereotypes. But when you actually point out like the stats and the facts, they don't like that stuff. That's no good. Just like you're allowed to be racist to anybody in their minds. But if you point out a fact and it talks about fake Hebrew people, they're like anti-Semite, and you're just saying, hey, those Zionists are trying to take over the world. It's absolutely diabolical.
You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them.
We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency,
Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters,
podcasts, short form video.
The irony is the Zionists worked with Hitler pre-World War II and during World War II to get Jewish people who had lived there for centuries, innocent Jewish people, to go to where Palestine is and where Israel is now. And we know Israel was created by the Rothschilds. So that's the irony of them saying all the stuff about Hitler, is they worked with him. The Zionists worked with him intimately.
Wikipedia, LLM.
American haters, Churchill haters.
We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI.
You think your stupid little podcast is going to change the world like hell it is?
Social media.
So actually the truth is they know your stupid little podcast can change the world. That's why they're censoring you. They're like, yeah. It's like, well, if you didn't think that someone's little podcast wasn't going to change the world, then you wouldn't be censoring it. You wouldn't care. So they just have no self-awareness, do they?
This is the new battlefield.
You don't get to wrap your psychotic
I mean, just listen to this guy rant. You're psychotic. Like, they sound psychotic. They're projecting. And whenever I see Bibi Netanyahu, I'm like, that guy is the biggest case of Wetika I think I've ever seen. But when you listen to them talk and they're calling us psychotic and you're listening to them screech, they're literally like demonically possessed. They are what they are accusing everyone else of being.
Unhinged, Nazi.
We do not allow Holocaust denial and distortion.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is
TikTok.
TikTok, number one.
For every 30 minutes that someone watches TikTok, they become 17% more anti-Semitic.
So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains.
There's no way they could possibly know how much more anti-Semitic you've become by watching TikTok. They don't know that. They just pull these numbers out their ass, just like they pulled COVID numbers out their ass.
All day long with video of carnage in Gaza.
We really have a TikTok problem.
Oh my God. You watch the truth and the reality of what they're doing in genociding. How dare you? How dare you watch that all day long? Jonathan Greenblatt, yeah, he's Anti-Defamation League. They're actually defamation. They defame people and smear people and falsely accuse people of anti-Semitism when they haven't committed it. He is actually crazy. So how dare you watch footage of the carnage and the genocide they created for Palestinians? How dare you?
Because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage, and I sound obscene.
Anti-Zionism is just Jew hatred. We made a change.
We updated our policies
to designate the use of the term Zionist.
to recognize that the term Zionist
as a proxy for a protected attribute
Can be used as a proxy for Jews and Israelis.
as hate speech.
Why can't Israel be doing some sort of, counterintelligence?
Right now, the
So, yeah, Zionists are not just Jewish people. I showed you Jews in Iran praying for peace. I know lots of Jews who are not Zionists and rabbis who are absolutely against this. Many Christians are Zionists. All those TPUSA people and many evangelicals are Zionists, whether they know it or not. So this is just wrong. This is just wrong. And in fact, the people way at the top are not Jewish. They're like Sabbateans and Satanists.
ADL is co-writing Sunday school curriculum.
Information warfare like this,
It's building the technology to train the LLMs more effectively.
like psychological operations in America.
As part of a robust framework to combat anti-Semitism, we have
Robust framework, they mean we're going to brainwash you, censor, and be fascist. Like, they use the fancy words to cover up for exactly what they're going to do. They're going to control the information. They're going to put you in jail. They're going to beat you down if you show what they're really doing. How dare you, you Nazi fascist freak? How dare you show footage of what we did in Gaza? How dare you show the truth of what's happening in Tel Aviv? How dare you? It's crazy.
industry-leading policies designed with the safety of the Jewish community in mind.
You're right, we control the media. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to bitch on Twitter? Like, okay. Meanwhile, we're going to control more of the media.
And working with
Hey, if you or I said they control the media, that would be anti-Semitism. But he's allowed to say it, and that's not. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy.
OpenAI, with Alphabet, with Anthropic, with Meta, with Microsoft. We are working with them now to train the LLMs.
We also have, I think, over 24 Jewish organizations that are constantly feeding us.
Is done, we're gonna be fine.
For decades, American society allowed Jews to live normal lives. This was a pleasant holiday from our destiny. The holiday is over.
The Western culture that stands against the Jews is going down. The West will survive only if it decides to love itself and if it decides to love us, the Jewish people.
Okay, you crazy bitch. But you guys can decide to hate Muslims, blow up Gaza, slaughter children. I actually have a video I'll show after this of them lobbing cats off a balcony during war. Everyone has to love. They don't want you to love them. They want you to get down on your knees and worship them and submit yourself to their power. That's what they want. What they're supporting over in Israel is technically an ethno-state. 100%.
The Jewish people are not normal. We never really were.
And now that Israel has turned the
Okay, well, since you've admitted it, bro, your words, not mine. Your words. You're not normal.
entire geopolitical situation on its head, our job in the diaspora is to leverage those wins and win here. Do to our enemies here what Israel did to its enemies there.
All right. So that is, we'll call that one in a little bit. That video goes on for 14 minutes. We won't be doing 14 minutes of this stuff, but let's go and do. I'll show you all this love that they have. I think it's around here somewhere. It's probably, yeah, here it is, because it's censored. I'm going to have to show it because it is not a nice video. Warning, graphic content, Israelis throwing kittens off rooftops after they took over a Palestinian home and found their pets. So they went into a Palestinian home, found their pets, and they did this.
No.
They went into the house, grabbed the cats, and started doing this.
No. No. No.
Okay, so they can't even have compassion for a Palestinian's cat. That this is the psychosis and psychoticness that happens with fascism, and they accuse everybody else of being horrendous. It's like when this kind of thing happens, when you villainize another person and people. I don't encourage people to villainize Jewish people either, to be quite honest with you. But this is what happens. This is the sick, twisted. This is beyond Watiko. This is depravity. Eric says, I'd rather worship a cat. I will not worship them. No human. There's no chosen person. There's no need to worship anything. There's no chosen human. There's no chosen people. There's just humans. We might have different cultures, different aspects, different, visual looks to us, but there's no chosen people. We are all manifestations from creation. And the fact that they don't get this, like, oh, I can't. I had to show it because I wanted people to see the terror, but I can't absorb it. It's hideous. God help that poor little cat. I know there's lots of animal lovers out there. You would just be enraged. You would just want to, if you were there, you just want to, it's like to attack the most helpless children, women, and little kittens, little pets. The most helpless. Doesn't make you a good person. It makes you evil. It makes you evil. So what is President Trump saying here? I think, is this that, yeah, it's the Axios article. I'll read you the headline. This is from Axio. He's saying, lying again. Trump tells Axios, and this was several days ago that they did this interview, there's practically nothing left to target in Iran. It's a country of 90 million people, by the way. I'm starting to think that Trump and then these people don't know anything about it. So he's saying there's practically nothing left to target in Iran. Little this and that. Anytime I want to end it, it will end, Trump said. Oh, then end it, Trump. You know why he can't end it? Because Israel says no. That's why he can't end it. The Epstein Coalition, they're calling them. The Epstein... What should we call them? You guys. What do we have here? Sometimes I can't see exactly what it is. This is Trump on Fox News. Let's see what he's saying here. 29 seconds.
We were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that...
See, again, they're villainizing them and calling them lunatics. And I've showed you guys before that his spiritual advisor and how crazy. He's literally telling people this is a biblical war. End of days. Armageddon. You have to go die for Jesus' return. That's what they're telling the soldiers in America. And they're calling the Iranians lunatics.
They were going to attack first. They were going to attack if we didn't do...
Okay, so he's making up a story. He's lying to all his followers, saying they were going to attack first. They were going to. We had to do it. We had to do it. Typical psychotic, narcissistic rhetoric to excuse their illegal war. This is an illegal war and war crimes. They're war criminals.
Do it. They were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And
oh, did you have a feeling? Did you have a feeling, Trump? You had a feeling that you just felt so strongly about? Okay. We're going to get into the crazy stuff, but here comes the part where I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. The FBI is trying to scare people now. They're saying FBI warns police in California that Iran wants to retaliate for U.S. attacks by launching drones against the West Coast. I bet you they're going to fake it, or they're going to launch their own drones. They're going to have some kind of, sleeper cell. It'll be done by the CIA. It'll be done by Mossad. They're going to pretend like Iran is attacking them, just like they made up that Iran tried to assassinate Trump. And you guys all know, I think that assassination was staged. It's all fake. This is all fake and gay. Iran just wants to get America out of that area. That is what they want. Now we're going to do one more video, and then we're going to talk a little bit about ball. We're going to do a little ball talk. You're like, ball? What the hell? So this is Richard Willett. He works with David Icke. And we're going to listen to what Richard has to say about what he thinks this cult is that's going on here. So it's going to be definitely a little conspiracy.
Brethren was steeped in
But
Jewish esoteric lore.
let's see what
So
he's
the
talking
link
about.
to today is their belief system. And that is what a secret society is in its sum total. Sometimes a mixture of things, but the main concept here, the main belief system behind the Asiatic Brethren, appears to be Jacob Frank and Sabbatean Frankism, which lent on Lurianic Kabbalah. The Asiatic Brethren was steeped in Jewish esoteric lore. They incorporated Kabbalistic rituals, likely reflecting the widespread influence of Lurianic concepts such as the Sitzum, which was the divine contraction, and the Tukun, which was cosmic repair, which became popular in the 18th century Jewish intellectual circles. Tikkun Olam is to repair the world. So it was Tikkun before. It was an inward thing. You would repair yourself. This was what the Kabbalah was originally, or at least early on anyway. This became an outward thing, repairing your community. And now it was Schneerson that took it on to repair the world. But it's to repair the world in their image. The 7 Noahide laws. This is what it's all about. So it's not repairing the world, it's creating the world in your image.
Oops, sorry.
Became popular in the 18th
It's not
century
letting me
Jewish
pause
intellectual
it.
circles. Tikkun Olam is to
Let's go for it.
your community, and now it was Schneerson that took it on to repair the world, but it's to repair the world in their image. The 7 Noahide laws. This is what it's all about. So it's not repairing the world, it's creating the world in your image. And then it comes into this really disturbing level of order out of chaos, or this kind of feeling of do what thou wilt, which Crowley took on. It was that evil and good aren't really much different because they lead to the same outcome. And that's where you get the Satanism part in there. Jacob Frank and his followers, Frankists, adopted a radical form of redemption through sin, based on the teachings of Sabbatai Zevi. It was a radical form of that. Remember, he was essential in the start of this Asiatic Brethren, or Brotherhood. He was related to the Dabrowski guys that were involved with it at the start. They believed that breaking traditional Jewish moral laws and embracing the abyss of sin was necessary to hasten messianic redemption, often engaging in taboo and scandalous activities to achieve this. This was almost like egging on God. Come on, get your job done. Come on, we're in trouble down here. Bringing it all down so God would come along, their Messiah, and repair it. That's exactly the thoughts behind it. So in the end, their evil deeds were good. So you can see this satanic cult that the likes of Jeffrey Epstein's clearly involved with, and many of the politicians around him as well, and the technocrats that believe that in doing these things, it all leads to good in the end.
So that was an important thing to highlight, is this idea that came out of not Jewish tradition at all. So these people aren't espousing Jewish tradition. They're doing this Sabbatean. It kind of ties into Aleister Crowley. It's the Kabbalah. They want to push the Noahide laws on all the world. This ties into the show that I did on Dark Enlightenment on Sunday, because that's what they're using. We highlighted that, I think, very quickly, that Noahide laws is what they want. And it's this idea that there's good and evil are the same thing. They have the same result. It doesn't matter. You achieve this stuff from doing evil and torture and do what thou wilt and all sorts of depravity. It is the keystone to this. And they think it's not just that they want to make things good in their community or be nice or do service. It's that they have this idea that they have to fix the world. And ironically, the more they fix the world, the more they destroy what is good, ironically. And it's a total opposite of this Christian notion where, you kind of redeem yourself and you want to stop your ways, but you kind of accept that you're human and that you're going to make mistakes and that it's okay. You just have to kind of redeem yourself and look at the bad behaviors. It's about good, it's about good and evil. And they say, bad things are bad. You're not supposed to do them. There's things that deprave your society. And traditional Judaism says, something not exact, but similar. Traditional Judaism does not adapt this stuff. That's why these people who are pushing this, who are calling people anti-Semitism, are liars. They're not following your traditional Judaism at all. They're not. They're doing something super, super satanic. And a lot of people think they're worshiping Baal. Let's see, can I go to the YouTube channel? No, we're not doing it on this one. They think they're worshiping Baal, their little strange god. I put something up on the YouTube channel. Let's go find it. We'll go find it here. I put it up. We'll get it. We don't have any more videos to watch over there. But there's a lot of people getting bent out of shape for a lot of this, and it kind of gets crazy, but here we go. Check her out. The Real Flow chart. It's pretty simplified. Let's give it a thumbs up here. Everybody go give it a thumbs up. But it tells you we're the public, we're glued to the TV or the internet, and they show you that we're controlled by these actors, singers, sports star media, world leaders. That's why Trump is just a puppet. And they're showing these puppet strings, Zionists, Vatican, Freemasons. It doesn't involve your typical Judaism, Islam, or Christians that, you know, you got Rothschilds, royal family, Rockefeller, and at the top is this really creepy Baal figure, right? And it's black cube worship. It is Saturn worship. It ties into this false god of this world that they want to appease so they can get all these goods and control the world. And I told you that I believe that all this stuff that they're doing and all this control systems is they are creating a synthetic world that they can control. And it's in the vaccines, it's in the frequencies, it's in everywhere. You know, I was just listening to a chapter in Ike's book where they were talking about stuff in the vaccine that they're trying to synthesize the human body. They're trying to take over nature because they abhor it and they think it is imperfect. When ironically, they're the ones that are imperfect and grotesque and horrible and not beautiful. But this is kind of, it gives you an ABC idea of how we're controlled. It's a web that's much more complicated than that. But there's a lot of people who realize that these people, these Epstein lovers, are worshiping something dark. The Zionists, the Vatican, the leaders, the NGOs, you know, everybody you can think of in this web of people that you commonly see on TV. And there's certain shadowy people above that you don't really see. They're all in on this. Freemasons, I mean, there's probably many other subgroups. I wouldn't be surprised the Vatican has been infiltrated long ago by this Sabbatean stuff. It's everywhere. And I think, I mean, honestly, at the end of the days, I know we stirred from solid stuff about the Iraq and the Iran war. Now we're getting a little spiritual, but at the end of days, this is sort of how it goes. Evil infiltrates everything. There's nothing, you know, it almost seems like you can't defeat it, right? There's nowhere to go. And so these are not your regular Jewish people that were put in concentration camps. In fact, these people that are calling themselves Zionists had no problem with them being put in concentration camps. In fact, they hide behind Jewish people and the plight and the persecution of real Jewish people so that they can control things and play victims. That's the biggest sin of all. So we're going to play one last video today. We're going to show people, and people all over the world are building Baal statues and burning them. And I have one here. Her name is Red. She's on TikTok, and she did a video about Baal statues being burned. Let's check her out.
Breaking news, another Baal statue has just been burned in Iran. And remember the first time they burned a statue of Baal? I wonder what triggered the US and is not real back then. Now another statue has been torched in Mexico City, right next to the US Embassy over the Iran conflict. And people are asking why burn Baal statues, where do they even get them? First off, they're pretty quick to make, and the message is very clear. The West is corrupt. Many see this as a statement against elite Satanism, And remember how the island man's bank account was literally called Baal? Feels like a spiritual battle, folks, one that's always been here. Baal shows up repeatedly in the Bible and the Quran, mostly as a rival to Yahweh. The world is watching. And to me, this really shows who stands for what. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
So Baal, evil worship. I don't even know if any of these people are real. I'm not like any of these gods even exist. But I think if they can get people to believe in it and worship it, it happens. It's like Wetika. It's a mind virus. And they've hooked our whole system up right through entertainment, through, sports, through all of it. They've hooked our system up into this kind of wicked world where they've convinced us that normal people over in Iran are these evil terrorists. When they create all the terrorists, they're trying to convince us that good is bad, bad is good. You've got on the left, they're like, hey, have mass abortions. And on the right, they're like, hey, let's have mass war. Either which way, they're sacrificing. They pull off assassinations and cover them up. You just have to look at the politics and Erica Kirk and all these people out there today to know that it's all fake and it's all a show, and a lot of money gets spent on it. And it's a very clever, it's not wise, it's not spiritual, it's not good, but it's a very clever web of crazy. And you got to wonder, what if it all undoes and what happens? Will Iran, decimate Israel? I don't know. We have to play. Like I said, this stuff could change time by time. Apparently, like she said, they're using Apaches. But, they've been trying to take out Russia for the longest time. And I would say to people on the left and the right, this, people who supported Ukraine more, and there's people who support this one, they're all run by the same people. And they're all for the same purpose. And I don't even know if in Russia, they're into the global system or what's going on. I know that Russia and Iran are not on a central banking system. I'm not so sure about China. And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that, I don't know. I don't entirely trust China. I don't know if they're in the central banking system. I have a feeling they might be. I don't know. We'll see. But most of the people at the top of the hill are corrupt. But Israel seems to be this really crazy nation that is using America to bolster its goals, with possibly the goal of destroying America and destroying Iran so they can just take over. And, all these tech bros, all of them, they're all tied into this. These Noahide laws, this dark enlightenment, it's all Wetika, and it's being fueled by something really dark at the top, something way beyond any physical that any of us can see. It's this horrible, evil mind virus, and there's so many people that are still stuck in it. And so I say, pray for peace, I guess. I don't know what else to say, but they're talking about boots on the ground and conscription and all of that stuff, and people have to push against this and say, no, we're not doing this anymore, we're not doing shit. People have to push against vaccinations because that's how they're going to monitor us and transhuman us. It's truly a satanic world. And when people talked about this massive control back in the Bible, I'm pretty sure they didn't see how it was actually going to be. I'm pretty sure they couldn't really foresee this type of future. Now, personally, myself, I don't believe technology has to be this way. Technology could be good. It could serve good purposes. But the people at top, because they're influenced by this creepy satanic nature and they're greedy and it's never enough, everything they use has to be for that purpose. It has to be for that Wetika, that terrible spirit. And Wetika can wake us up and we can actually watch it and listen to it and not go with the flow. Or you can let it destroy the planet, which seems to be the road, unfortunately, that we're going down. And the next time somebody reminds you about the environment and global warming, you say, oh, really? Well, maybe you better stop blowing up oil refineries and dropping bombs. That might help a little bit. Yeah. So that's the show for today. That's the update. We didn't even go to the Iran Maybe we should actually go to the Iran.
Breaking news,
counter.
another ball.
Just get a little more logical. We went a little biblical there. There is the Iran Monitor. So it monitors stuff in real time. Let's see what it's saying here today. And we'll finish it up that way. All right. So this was Wednesday, March 11th, morning briefing. Day 12, the U.S.-Israeli military campaign against Iran saw a dramatic overnight escalation, with the IRGC launching Wave 37 of Operation True Promise, described by Iranian officials as the heaviest strike package of the war, firing Khormashar ballistic missiles with the 2-ton warheads at U.S. bases and Israeli territory, while 4 successive Iranian missile barrages targeted central Israel, and the IDF conducted wide-scale strikes on Tehran and Tabriz. Iranian forces simultaneously struck U.S. bases across the Gulf, including Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan in Kuwait, and facilities in Bahrain and the UAE. And by the way, a lot of those cities, UAE, they're empty. They're like ghost towns right now. People are scared because they know America's not going to be there to protect them. While a cargo ship was set ablaze in the Strait of Hormuz, and a container ship was struck near Ras Al Khaimah, with CENTCOM confirming the destruction of 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels. Even as the U.S. Navy privately refuses escort requests due to attack risk. The economic toll is mounting sharply. European diesel prices have surged 55% in 10 days, and Aramco CEO warned of catastrophic consequences from the strait closure, which, by the way, I was told that was a hoax by someone, a certain Jer, who came in the show on, and is not a hoax. The New York Times reported that Trump administration miscalculated both Iran's response and the oil market impact. Of course he did. So, Iran targets U.S.-Israeli financial banking centers. High likely. U.S. threatens most intense day of strikes. Major escalation imminent. Reza Pavlov, final call and potential domestic uprising in Iran. Medium likelihood. Strait of Hormuz, shipping crisis deepings. And then condition of status in the new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, under scrutiny. Medium likelihood. They don't know if it's true or not. And so once again, go to iranmonitor.org if you want to keep up on things. Conflict map. It's not giving me the conflict map. Let's see if we can refresh this. Maybe it'll give me the conflict map. Conflict map. There we go. So here we got, there's Israel over here. And a lot of these areas are under conflict because it is Iran. Iran is targeting all sorts. There's the United Arab Emirates. They're targeting all sorts of American. Basically what they're trying to do is drive America out of the area because they're tired. And I can't say I blame them. They're absolutely tired of America and their naval bases all over the place. So there you have Iran. So there's protests in Iran, fire, destruction. So it tells you where all of this stuff is. It will tell you where all of the destruction's going, victims, what's happening. Let's go back to Monitor, and they give you the latest headlines. Of course, I had a video. There is, I think North Korea is testing missiles now. They want to come in and help Iran. Apparently, Russia denies this, but apparently they are giving intel, maybe even supplies, to Iran. Looks like China, they're just going to play it safe. They're going to be strategic. I don't know much of what they're doing. Jonaside says, my worry is if the USA and Israel can just attack another country, will China decide to just take Taiwan because they can? They could. They absolutely could. I think what Trump is trying to do, and this is another thing that I've heard that Trump is trying to basically go hardcore in here, and then he's going to go to China and try to force a deal on China to buy US oil instead of Iranian oil. And China might take the deal just to be pragmatic, but they also might try to help Iran at the same time. So Trump thought this was going to be a quick deal. It's not. It's very volatile. I don't know if they'll be able to do the deal. Iran is still getting oil to China, from what I can tell. From what I can tell. Oops. Where is it going? So yeah, you can watch live footage of it. Open source. The U.S. Central Command released a video showing airstrikes on Iranian C-130s. So enough is enough. Polish MP Dominic, I can't say his last name, argues whether force can bring democratic reform in Iran. Iran does not need our democracy. It's its own culture. We need to get the fuck over ourselves in our democratic reform. Like, really, we need to get the fuck over ourselves because we're not bringing democracy. So they tell you all the naval activity that's in the area. It's a fantastic site, and they give you market predictions. Just really well done. And they update it all the time. So that is what's happening. You can donate, support their work. You know, we really treat the Iranians like they're not very smart, and that this isn't true. There's obviously some areas where they have lower IQs for whatever reason, but we have this idea of Russia and Iran as like some backwards countries. If you hear them talked about like they're, like a gas station, in the worst ways. And I think it's this hubris that makes America so weak. And the fact that they're lashing out, you hear so much lies. You see Pete Hegseth, they've miscalculated and they're changing their strategy multiple times. The thing is the missiles aren't falling over us. The missiles are falling over Israel and Iran. They're the ones getting the hit. So we can talk the smack all we want, and we're not getting hit. I think that's why they're trying to. I can imagine that they did this stuff in World War II as well. That it wouldn't surprise me if Pearl Harbor was a false flag to get America in to the war. But I can see them faking events or drone stuff or things like that. I can see them faking it and getting people in America upset so they could unite people against Iran. I'll know they're faking it. It's not going to happen. They said no war. Now they're talking about, the draft and all sorts of stuff and sending our youth to die for these rich pricks. No. Trump can haul his ass over there. Barron can go over there. All their rich, ugly kids can go over there. It's like, no, we have to say no, this isn't happening. Unfortunately, there's too many stupid people who won't say no. And that's the biggest problem of all in this war. So remember, don't put on any of these people's logos, like I always say. Don't give them your money. These political, greedy, billionaire, trillionaire pigs. Do not go to their massive events because you'll definitely be hypnotized. Try to limit the media time. I mean, and try not to absorb it too much. Try to shake it off and go for a walk, because ultimately, if they can get you down and they can get you feeling bad and keep you in this perpetual negativity and Wetika, that's when they got you. And I was listening today, just as a hindrance, that they know the frequencies and they can create frequencies. They know the frequencies to cause depression, to make you angry and volatile, to change your behavior. That's what a lot of these nano stuff and vaccines and stuff they're putting into you. They know how to do frequencies to change your behavior. It's like literally can make us depressed and immobile. There's some crazy stuff that they can do out there in war today that is very unholy and very concerning. We're literally going to have to put ourselves in some kind of there's a reason people are trying to wear tinfoil hats. What do they call them? I always forget the name of them. Faraday bag. We're going to have to Faraday bag our whole house. That's unfortunately the reality of this stuff. So guys, that's all I've got for you. Sunday, Walter Balsley is going to be here, 5 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be talking about the 33rd latitude, Disneyland and the portals. 33 happens a lot, by the way, guys. I believe, was it, who came after FDR? Hoover? Truman? Who was it? He was the 33rd president, and he dropped the bombs on Hiroshima And they sit on the 33rd latitude. There's crazy stuff going on with 33. It's because these cult people believe in it. But anyways, on Sunday we'll be talking with Walter Bosley all about Disneyland as a portal, 33rd latitude. Probably ask him some way out conspiracy theory. I think on Monday the 23rd I'm going to be on Ryder Lee's show, Raised by Giants. I'm not sure if it's live or pre-recorded, but I'll let you guys know the links. So I'm going to be guesting on that one. Let's see if there's any comments. You called which one, by the way? Walter Bosley. Yeah, you knew Walter was going to be a guest. I think it was probably the Disneyland thing. Anyways, guys, I'm going to head off. Stay strong. Try to be positive and not absorb it all. Shake it off. And I will see you on Sunday with guest Walter Bosley.